The first really awful Monday of college football has finally shown up. Sometimes this happens in the form of coaches getting fired. Maybe you're happy about that, depending on your team. But this Monday sucks for everybody. We got news of season-ending injury after season-ending injury, beginning with Graham Mertz, who blew out his ACL in Florida's loss to Tennessee over the weekend. He got stuck in the turf. He twisted his knee, and now it seems that his college football career is over. Enter DJ Lagway, who is a five-star recruit and who has tremendous potential to be great, and I think can really give Florida something to look forward to, as they've been showing flashes of being a better football team than they showed at the beginning of the year. Now it's very firmly the DJ Lagway show. At one point, they were kind of sharing, and then it was becoming Graham Mertz's once again. His maturity, his leadership, his experience were what Billy Napier was valuing at the time. Now, all of that goes out the window when you're talking about DJ Lagway, and I hope what happens is Graham Mertz is able to pour all of his knowledge into the talented true freshman quarterback who could really be fantastic in this sport, and we expect to be fantastic in this sport. Along with that news, we got Tennessee linebacker Keenan Pili, who is blown out his ACL, been playing football for some time. He's probably done playing football. And then we have Benjamin Morrison going down with another injury, which sucks because Benjamin Morrison had worked really hard to get back this year. I think between he and Xavier Watts, we're talking about perhaps the best safety corner tandem in all of college football on a Notre Dame team that is very much still hunting the college football playoff and played some of its best football against Stanford just last week, and has really bounced back from the loss to Northern Illinois, as bad as that loss still looks on their resume. And then we get news of Cam Rising, who is now back on the shelf at Utah and is out indefinitely. Means Isaac Wilson will be the starter the rest of the way for a Utah team that has underperformed, in large part because they haven't gotten the Cam Rising that we've seen when he had been healthy in the past. He did not look great in the game against Arizona State, and he hadn't particularly looked great when we saw him even a little bit this year. But what is wild about Cam Rising experience is this is a man who, because he only played 3 games this season, is eligible for an 8th year of playing college football. I don't know that he's going to do that at Utah, but the way that I take the look at this is, remember that Cam Rising committed to Oklahoma when Lincoln Riley was still head coach at a time when Casey Thompson was basically left out and chose to go to Texas. This is like 2018, okay? Casey Thompson has played at now Texas, Florida Atlantic, Nebraska, and Oklahoma. Cam Rising has been around the block, man. Like, we are getting into the Wooderson era of the Cam Rising experience, and if I got this right, we're talking about a 25, 26-year-old quarterback in college football, which had basically been unheard of since World War II ended, when guys were going back to school on the GI Bill. And we kind of frown on it now, but it really underscores where the sport is right now with name, image, and likeness, with eligibility, with transfer portal. I mean, first we have immediate transfers being for everybody, right? Transfer portal opens, you get to go into it. But the COVID year has also allowed for some veteran quarterbacks to really make their mark in the sport. Cam Rising being one of those, along with a guy like Dylan Gabriel, who's playing a 6th year of college football and probably will leave this season as the sport's all-time leading passer because he'll pass Case Keenum with throwing for just 4,400 yards this season. You're also looking at Will Howard, who is a grad transfer at Ohio State, and down like Graham Mertz, transferred from Wisconsin. That dude coming out of Overland Park was supposed to be the next Russell Wilson at Wisconsin. It was not that long ago. And the Graham Mertz experience has just not been that great. I'm also looking around asking myself, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a young DJ Lagway who's going to figure it out, or an older Dylan Gabriel, Will Howard, Cam Rising, who you pretty much know what you can get out of them? And I think it depends on the composition of your football team. But I do know this, losing guys like Keenan Pili, especially on a defense that needed his help in that front 7, and losing guys like Benjamin Morrison, who was going to be, might still be a first-round draft pick at cornerback, does not help anybody. And frankly, we all are suffering with the loss of stars in the sport, especially as they're emerging or guys that we know. But the war of attrition has officially begun. This is the part of the 2024 season that is the most unpredictable. We know that the injury rate in college football, is 100%. People are going to get hurt. They're going to miss games. Some of them are going to miss entire seasons. Do you have the depth down your roster to make it happen when it's time to go? Because we see this at the running back room all the time. You just got to go find a guy. I mean, that's basically what happened with Texas. They lose their star tailback. They lose their third string tailback. And here they are with Jaden Blue, with Quintravian Wisner, and Jarrett Gibson making it happen because they're talented down the depth chart. That part is really important, especially when you're talking about positions that have multiple players at them, like cornerback, wide receiver, running back, offensive line. But at quarterback, the most important and singular position in all of sports, losing a guy with the experience of Cam Rising, losing a guy with the experience of Graham Mertz does set you back, because you can't teach DJ Lagway what he doesn't already know until he goes and he experiences it, right? Like you're not going to be able to give him walking into a raucous Death Valley and going, all right, here it is, kid, make it happen. You're going to have to see how he reacts to that. Try to prepare him for it as much as you can. But there is no teacher like the experienced teacher. Like that is 100% going to be the thing that I think separates many of these players. I'm thinking about Dante Moore at UCLA last year. He looked like he was going to be great, and I still think that Dante Moore could be great. But he was not ready for the moment at UCLA. And at Oregon, he gets to sit behind a guy like Dylan Gabriel and Austin Novosada and go, oh, okay, cool. This is how I'm supposed to do this. To say nothing of Miller Moss at USC and Jaden Mayava, getting to watch that guy and see how that happens. You want to have this heir-apparent relationship ready to go. And while I still think that DJ Lagway should have been the guy from the jump, I'm getting to understand what Billy Napier was looking for, and one of the reasons why he wanted to have Graham Mertz leading that football team in 2024. And you know what? With the win against Mississippi State and the way they played against Tennessee, he looked like he was on to something. And it looked like we go from a guy who was going to get bought out later this year, $26 million plus, to a guy that might be able to finagle his way into a 2025 where he gets to have a DJ Lagway that not only does not enter the transfer portal, but probably enters next year as one of the rising stars in the sport by virtue of having played so much football this year and playing in the SEC next year. I'm excited to find out what this could mean for the sport, because up and down, the attrition is going to happen. You're going to see more guys get hurt. But I want to see who was really good at roster management, who was able to identify guys that could help them, and then get those dudes to develop and deliver when it was time to go.